All right, what's going on there, boys? Welcome back to the channel. For anyone new here, what's up? I'm Sam. I'm a dude in a garage in Montana that is trying to get really, really, really strong. It's kind of my objective. Been at it for 11 years. Still going good. The rest of you, welcome back to the channel. I got a bit of a fun one. My apologies for the lighting. 2 out of 3 of my lights out in the garage are out, I think, right now. Actually, no, I replaced one of them with a little dim old bulb, but lighting's not so good out here. Just wrapped up my biggest week. We're kind of running a 3-week up, 1-week down structure. That's going good. But I had a good video for you guys. It's something me and Max have been joking about for a while that I figured, hey, make a good single point talking point video. And that's everybody is lying to you about their training age. There's an epidemic of really good, smart lifters straight up lying about their training age. There's a bajillion people I've seen do this where someone will ask, oh man, you're crazy, you're a freak. How long you been training? They're like, yeah, I've only been powerlifting for 3 years. And they won't mention the fact that they've been in the gym they've been squatting, benching, and deadlifting for a decade, or they were lifting heavy for football for a decade prior. It was just how long they've been powerlifting. And that's kind of intentionally used to create this misleading, like, yeah, I'm a bit of a fucking freak if you do. And you can always catch the people because then if somebody ever discredits them, they're like, hey, maybe you shouldn't listen to his advice. That guy is just a genetic anomaly. Suddenly they've been training for 12 years and all of that prior resistance training history counts. And they're like, well, it took me 12 years. It's all grit and grind. And it's funny that some of the same people will make both points depending on what mood they're in. If they're the real veteran who's been working on it for a while, they're counting all of those years. And when they want to seem like the young phenom, it's somehow the smaller number. So just something for you guys to be wary of. Don't get caught up in the hype. And similarly, something actually a little bit more practicable that you guys could use maybe as a takeaway, because I see a lot of guys go too far in the other direction. They're like, fuck, man, I've been training for 4 years. I'm only at XYZ point. Maybe that's an indicator that my potential sucks. Ask yourself this: how long have you been training seriously? Because most people have 2 separate numbers. And it's not like that time not seriously doesn't count, but it doesn't count quite the same when we're trying to assess our potential. How long have you really been given a go, right? Because I'll talk to a million guys. They're like, oh, I've been in the gym like pretty consistently for 4 years, but I only started taking it real serious about a year ago. Well, you're somewhere between 1 and 4 when we're kind of practically appraising training age. Myself, I'm a bit of a weird guy. The second I went into a gym, I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And I've been like truly, truly all in all my times watching videos. Will this make me better at lifting weights? I'll watch some pretty obscure stuff if I can tie it into how it's going to make me better at lifting weights. Not everybody has that one-to-one training history equals serious training history. So factor that in, right? Give yourself some credit in that appraisal, right? I err on the side of like, I don't want to be necessarily accurate. I want to select my perceptions of things based on what's practically going to produce the biggest result. And so I tend to just be like, my progress is unlimited. I have infinite potential. Not because that's objectively true. That's demonstrably false, but because functioning under that worldview is likely to help me produce the best result I can. And I select a lot of my worldviews just based on what I think is practically, what's going to practically shake out pretty well. Yeah, so that's just some thoughts on training history. I thought you guys might think that was interesting. Let me know what you think down below. Oh, and also the other thing, I think sporting history is also severely underrated, right? We see, maybe this phenom lifter, they got really good really fast, and maybe they haven't been in the weight room that long. But maybe they were doing track and field without like doing much S&C, right? They're coming in with this great work capacity and they're already preloaded with a bunch of like tendinous adaptations. Their tendons are made of fucking steel due to the really high forces they're exposed to when running and jumping, right? Maybe you'd boxed like I did and you already have this good feel for how to create and punch through forcefully with the upper body, this idea of maximal force production with the upper body. Maybe benching comes really easy to you. Maybe you're someone like GVS whose training history was more of like a distance runner guy and you just come in with this monstrous work capacity. That also factors into training history. And I don't know. I think it's very interesting. And you can jazz yourself up on what those things you invested in when you were younger. There's a lot of volume of a physical exercise there, and there's likely some remnant adaptations from that, or propensities to some adaptations as you get back in shape. That shit's cool, right? And if you got none of it, you're a clean slate. Hell yeah, go for it. Build from scratch, right? But that's another thing that kind of like should be factored in when we're appraising people, should be factored in when we're appraising ourselves. It's just something that could be interesting. You're like, fuck, we usually chalk these things all up to genetics, and I think we're missing some smaller effect sizes from other stuff, right? Did this lift excel because, genetically I'm just a good squatter? Or did your sprinting background kind of preload you for a better first year than most people had? And then you were proud of being fucking, I don't know, Dale the squat guy, and you were jazzed to be Dale the squat guy. So you really went hard on your squat days, and that kind of compounded over and over. You might not even have had any greater a genetic aptitude for the squat than the deadlift, but the deadlift or the squat excelled ahead because, man, that jumping background really translated to some good early training. Then I got a feel for it. Then I got good at it, and I started investing maybe a little bit more of my accessories into it than I was for my deadlift. Maybe I was mentally a little bit more jazzed in the car every time. Maybe the night before I always went to bed early for the squat day, and that compounded and compounded and compounded. And you come to the conclusion that's entirely genetics. That's why your squat's ahead. But these things I think about this often, right? I'm a much better bench presser than I am squatter. I kind of have the physical parameters to where there's no reason I should be any better at bench press than squat. My legs are short. I'm flexible. I'm fat. I should be a good squatter. So I'm going to become one, right? I'm going to start laying down that training history. What I'm doing now is that training history to give me a damn good time trying to get my squat up a year from now. So just some random thoughts. Figured I'd drag you guys out to the garage and listen to me fucking mumble. Appreciate you boys as always.